You know, in my last video, I promised to show you a picture of me and the president, and for some reason I forgot to edit that in, so I'm gonna do that right there. See, that's me and the president. How cool is that? Today I'm gonna give you guys my top 5 pieces of advice for new security guards. This is a question coming in from North Carolina, so please stay tuned for today's debrief. Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Atypical Security Guard. I want to thank you so much for joining me here at the Security Guard channel and joining me for today's debrief. Today is question and answer day. We actually have a question that was sent in from Aaron Neely from North Carolina. He says, I am a new armed guard. Do you have any advice for new guards? And guys, listen, actually I do. I'm going to give you my top 5 pieces of advice for new guards, and this is in no particular order. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 5 is going to be having that warrior mindset, right? Actually, the first 4 things that we go over here on my pieces of advice can all be found in individual form on this channel. But number 5 is going to be having that warrior mindset. Listen, we have to understand what it is that we're being tasked to do as officers. Whether you're an unarmed officer, whether you're an armed officer, whether you're a reserve officer for police department or sheriff's department, or whether you're working as a corrections officer, you're being tasked with dealing with a lot of the lowest form of society. You're going to be dealing with drug addicts. You're going to be dealing with the homeless. You're going to be dealing with people that are stealing or who are looking to harm other people. So you have to understand that you are being tasked with protecting and observing and reporting and really just being involved in various levels of law enforcement. So you have to take that part of your job seriously. If you're not focusing on firearms training, if you're not focusing on self-defense, if you're not focusing on communication, really putting time into learning these things, specifically those 3 things, I think that you are doing yourself a grave disservice, and I say grave on purpose. And I think that you are not taking your job or your career seriously. So look more in depth into the warrior mindset video, because I think that that is one of the main pieces of advice. Number 4 is having a business mindset. Guys, listen, in security, no matter what aspect of security you're doing, you're gonna spend a lot of time just wasting time. That's right. Whether you're watching a building, you're in a retail capacity, or you're doing some sort of patrol, you're going to spend a lot of time on your feet. You're going to spend a lot of time sitting at a desk, and what you don't want is to have that time go to waste. If you have a business mindset, you can utilize this amount of time, this downtime, to your benefit. You can utilize that with getting your schoolwork done if you're in college, or thinking about or writing out a business plan, or just kind of utilizing your opportunities of where you are and who you're around to benefit you down the line. If you're working as a guard, find out what you can do to get yourself to that next level within your company. Can you become a supervisor? Can you become an instructor? Can you become a instructor for the governing body of the security guards in your area? Can you become a firearms instructor? My point is, find ways and avenues that you can take the time that you're putting into. My camera is giving me a hard time here. Hang on, let me fix this. Hang on. Hang on here. Okay, sorry. I promise I'll... Okay, sorry, we had a brief moment of technical difficulty there. All right, so let me get back to this. Utilizing that time that you have and thinking about where you are, who you're around, and how you can utilize that to your benefit. Most every company, security company that I'm aware of, they have issues with retaining people all across the board. That can be in administration, that can be in management. So finding a way that you can gain more access to your company, become more important to your company, more valuable to your company. If you're good with social media, maybe you take over the social media accounts of your company, but find ways that you can benefit and make more money, and find ways to flip what you're doing into something other than just being a guard, okay? Number 3 is going to be having the customer service mindset. We talked about the customer service mindset in an earlier video, but I think that that's something that really gets lost in being a security guard, specifically in being an armed guard. I want to be really transparent. When you put that gun on your hip, a lot of times it can make you feel pretty tough, make you feel like a badass, and for a lot of people it can make you feel a little bit closer to being a cop, right? And unfortunately, that carries itself over into being a little bit less respectful of people and maybe a little bit less understanding of people, and I've seen that happen. So my advice to you would be to always keep a customer service mindset. Remember that you're not there to intimidate or to push anyone around. You're a customer service agent, and I always think of myself as a customer service agent. So help people out, do your best to be of benefit and not to be of hindrance to anyone else, okay? Number 2 would be your equipment, right? Do not spend frivolously. Watch the amount of money that you put into purchasing your equipment. All right, guys, I'm gonna be really open and honest with you. I've been trying to make these videos in this garage area, and it has been non-stop drama and bullshit. Every time that I try and make a video, I have people walking through, opening doors, closing doors. So I am not going to stop making this video regardless of the fact that people are walking through here. So if you see like people walking into the shot, then they just have to walk into the shot. All right, so number 2 is going to be... Okay, take 6. All right, number 2. Okay, take 7. Number 2 is equipment. Everything from your plate carrier to your duty belt all the way down to your boots. Make sure that you have the proper equipment for whatever it is that you're doing. And I hope that you understand that this means not to overly spend. I have a video on here. I think it's listed as "Don't DJ for the other DJs, DJ for the crowd." And the reasoning behind that is I don't want you to spend unnecessary money to try and look cool for the people that you work with. At some point in time, I'm going to do a equipment review. Someone had asked me before to do a duty belt review, but I really don't have anything on my duty belt other than my Glock 17 and my 2 17 round magazines, backup magazines. But I'm going to go over what I have on my plate carrier, the type of plates that I use, because that's very important. But the type of boots that you have, the type of pants that you wear, all of that stuff to me is way more important than half of the other things that people carry. And I will do a video on that down the line, but make sure that you have good equipment. Make sure that you have equipment that allows you to get your job done to the best of your ability, but don't overspend, okay? Don't overspend. All right. Number 1, and this is something that we don't talk about enough, has to be mental health. For me personally, I have been working here in Portland doing armed security for exactly 6 months now. And when I was lucky enough to land the job with the company that I'm with, my first detail was working the downtown George Floyd Black Lives Matter protest. So right from the very beginning, I'm getting an up-close view of Antifa, of Black Lives Matter. Here in Portland and throughout the Pacific Northwest, we have a very large presence of Proud Boys and Patriot Prayer and all of these things in between. And so my company actually works alongside a lot of different agencies, and we have a lot of different things that we do. I'm very, very lucky to work with this amazing company. But one thing that I wasn't ready for was the level of interaction that I have with drug addicts, the level of danger that I was going to be placed in, the stress level. And I wasn't ready for Portland in general. I'm not from Portland. So coming to the Pacific Northwest and just seeing things like rampant homelessness and our government leadership here is just, it's really bad. And I wasn't ready for the emotional toll that working this job has taken on me. One thing, I absolutely can never turn it off. I'm a pro 2A advocate, so I'm always armed at all times, but working in this job and working in this sector and some of the things that I've seen over the past 6 months, it's just almost impossible for me to turn it off. So, you know, not that we necessarily go out and do a lot of things during the pandemic anyway, but when I am out and I'm with my wife, I'm always on. And I think that just the stress of 6 months of riots and political unrest and all the things that we've been a part of here in Portland, it's been very, very, very difficult on me emotionally. And I think that a lot of guards have to come to grips with the fact that this is a very difficult job. I've said it before, putting on this uniform and having this badge is like having a giant disrespect me here sign. And you're going to deal with that a lot. You're just doing your job. For the most part, you have very little authority, if any. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to be disrespected. And as a man, that can be difficult. So guard your mental health. Make sure that you understand when you put this uniform on, this uniform absorbs as much of that negativity and drama and dirtiness that you're going to encounter, and that's not you. It's not getting on you. Don't let that get on you and your soul, and don't take it home. And find ways to cope, find ways to de-stress, find ways to make sure that you're keeping your mental where you want it, because otherwise it can just really eat at you and it can wear you down, and you don't want that. So more than anything, my number one piece of advice is make sure that you guard your mental health and that you do this job as a job. Do it 110%, give it all you have, but don't give it all that you are, because who you are is not your job. And that's my biggest piece of advice, okay? I am going to be reaching out to you and sending you something, a very special gift, and I'm super happy that you gave me an opportunity to speak to you, and I hope that I can continue to influence you, and thank you for your service. You said that you're in the reserves or the Guard. I can't remember, I'm sorry, I'm getting old, but thank you for your service, and we're super happy to have you as a brother in the security field, okay? Guys, send your questions to my email. It's right here. Boom. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and be great.